The Australian Parliament House became home to Pramukh Swami Maharaj's centennial celebrations. The motivating theme of Pramukh Swami Maharaj's life ethos, "In the joy of others lies our own," was shared on this occasion. Pramukh Swami Maharaj lived his life inspiring better individuals, families, and communities. On the lawn of the Canberra Centenary Trail, Mahopadhyay Bhadresh Das Swami and Swamis performed the pujan of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. They offered their respects with great reverence, praying for the progress and prosperity of all individuals, families, and communities in Australia. The current spiritual leader of BAPS, Mahant Swami Maharaj, had visited the Australian Parliament House in 1997. He had showered his blessings and offered his prayers for the upliftment of Australia and its people. Pramukh Swami Maharaj embraced the same vision of equality as Australia. Australians value equal opportunity in their society, which is often called a fair go. This means that what someone achieves in life should be as a result of their talents, work, and effort, rather than their wealth or background. Similarly, Pramukh Swami Maharaj motivated individuals to become better in all aspects of life, to earn an equal opportunity to succeed. He believed that if individuals lived a life filled with moral values, family harmony would proceed, leading to an uplifted community and elevated nation. This righteous message was illustrated at the Australian Parliament House. The contribution of Pramukh Swami Maharaj was on display on how he lived a life in the joy of others and his connection to Australia from his visits in 1984, 1996 and 2002, which have inspired thousands in the Australian community to serve others and to build a stronger, united nation. The BAPS children and youth performed cultural dances, sang devotional songs, and recited Sanskrit verses, praying for world peace and global harmony. Members of Parliament, community leaders, staff, and special guests gathered in the Mural Hall of the Australian Parliament House on this momentous occasion to celebrate the life, legacy, and work of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. The delegates at the event offered their veneration to Pramukh Swami Maharaj by offering a garland and speaking about his mission and vision for bettering individuals, families, and communities. All were overwhelmed by the life of Pramukh Swami Maharaj and his efforts for uplifting society.
Thank you so much to BAPS for really adorning the People's Place with your presence today. He was a man who transformed the lives of so many. He led by example with his virtuous spiritual lifestyle. He was empathetic, a trait that is all too rare. When people looked to him for advice, he listened. When people turned to him for guidance, he shone his light, and he continues to do so. With his wisdom, empathy, and humility, he helped others. This selfless, generous act of listening and providing counsel is something that we should all be inspired by. The legacy of Pramukh Swami Maharaj lives on years after his passing, through his followers and his devotees, but most importantly, through the values of the BAPS. The incredible achievements, the incredible life that the Swami had. But what impressed me most of all was the way in which his devotees, the volunteers in that place, wanted to showcase his life and his example. It was that love of his devotees that shone through more than anything. Such a pride in his legacy, and I certainly had never seen anything like it.
We want everybody in this building to know the really quite amazing contribution that the BAPS community makes in our broader communities as well. Because I know that the remarkable story of the Mandir in my part of the world is a story that is replicated in so many communities around our country and indeed so many communities around the world. we are massive supporters of the BAPS community because we have seen for ourselves the way that you don't just observe a faith, but the way that you put that faith in action. The idea that in the joy of others lies our own joy, I think, is the kind of sentiment that you could run a whole country on. And you can certainly run communities on it. It's something that Shane and I believe, and all of the members who are here no doubt believe as well, that the whole point that we're on this planet, the whole point that we're in this parliament, is because we want to dedicate ourselves to the task of uplifting other people. And that's what today is all about, and that's what this really wonderful faith is all about as well. And so when we celebrate, obviously, the centenary of Pramukh Swami Maharaj, we do that proudly, but we also recognise in every community where there is a BAPS presence, there is more selflessness, there's more commitment to the local community. It's really one of those wonderful things that we celebrate.
Joy being found in humility, in purpose, is spreading not just through this community, but because of the work of this community right across the Australian community. And I thank you all so much for that work and the inspiration you've shown. So you've given me a great honour today to be able to share in this celebration, a celebration of a centenary that should be marked, and should be marked in this place, in the seat of Australia's government, because it is an important event, not just to the BAPS community, but to the wider Australian community, as we reflect on example, as we look into ourselves to live by that example.
Which is celebrating the 100th anniversary of His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj and his contributions to the world. And that's the most important point, the world. Not just part of the world, but the whole world. And it says here, a rare soul who always lived for others and at the same time remained totally absorbed in God. In the joy of others lies our own by building better individuals, better families and better communities.
His Holiness is loved by his devotees. I hear this all the time. And also by everyone for his striking humility, noble service, saintlessness and selfless desire to help other people, to help everyone. When he was 28 years of age, he was appointed as the president of BAPS. Under his leadership and guidance, BAPS rapidly grew into a global Hindu organisation and witnessed significant expansion. We now have 1,100 BAPS temples built across the world, many in Australia, and I'm delighted to visit so many.
This is a wonderful celebration of His Holiness, whose contribution in letter writing and in counselling and also in helping people is so evident. I see that because I represent a regional and rural community in Queensland where the droughts and bushfires have been so impactful in my local community. And BAP has done an enormous contribution, an enormous effort in helping people. That communitarian spirit is there for all to see. And those values are so similar to mine, a focus on forgiveness and unity and service. And I love this motto. In the joy of others lies our own. In my faith tradition as a Christian, St. Paul of Tarsus in Galatians chapter 5 talks about the fruit of the Spirit, the first one being love and the second one being joy. And that fruit of the Spirit we could do with a bit more in federal parliament, could we not, from time to time?
Big shout out to all the people that have made the great journey to Canberra, and for this community for being so inclusive and supportive, including adding a bit of colour to the Mural Hall, something that's sometimes just full of dour politicians. So you've really added to a little bit of Australian democracy.
BAPS community is very active in my local community in Western Australia, and the community does a lot of charitable work and community service. And we really appreciate the work that you do, and I'd like to wish you all the very best.
Who preach that in the joy of others lies our own. It's a message that I'm sure you are all very familiar with, but a message that I have to say has so much meaning within it. And His Holiness, in his time with us, spent so much of his life travelling the world and speaking about peace and harmony. Peace and harmony that more than ever before is needed throughout the world as we look at all the troubles, the conflicts, the disruption to people's lives that people are enduring each and every day. It's a global issue that we can only provide some change of direction to if people work together, and it was something that His Holiness did throughout all of his life. Looking at the statistics, even as I walked in here today, you can see the level and the extent of his work and how it resounded across the world, and the recognition that he himself was given by other world leaders because of the work that he did. I can only say that it's a privilege to be here with you today, to see his work continuing. I know that new mandirs have been opened throughout Australia, and that his work, his spirit, will live on through the work of you folks and his successors, and I wish you every success in carrying on the traditions, the values and the work that he commenced.
Pramukh Swami Maharaj blessed the halls of the Parliament House whilst the session of Parliament was sitting, such that values of service, humility and unity remain eternally present for all that reside in it. On the birth centenary celebrations of Pramukh Swami Maharaj, let us all pledge to follow in his footsteps and become the torchbearers of global harmony from the capital of Australia.